Пані та панове. Єсть.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we will have a briefing of the Speaker of the Security and Defense Council, Colonel Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue our briefing. Sorry for being late. We have a lot of information. 2 hours ago, all Ukrainian humanitarian aid arrived to Luhansk region, and 3 columns from Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk and Kiev, and now in Starobelsk, the mission of Red Cross, according to description, officially receives the cargo from Kharkiv. You can here we have a picture how it should be, how the column should be organized, that all humanitarian assistance is brought, and at the initiative of the president, which was organized for eastern regions, that should arrive, should be checked, and should be transferred to Red Cross. On the picture, you could see warehouses where they unloaded the cargo. And those things, the items that they need. Our trucks came filled with food. Dnipropetrovsk column came in the morning to Severodonetsk, where they unload under the command of Sergei Bachkovsky from and representatives of Red Cross. Kiev column came to Lysychansk, where they unloaded. Local bread factories received an order, and a part of from that flour which was brought to bake bread, which will be provided to residents from Shestia and from other villages which are liberated from bandits recently. The food will be provided to those residents who were able to leave Luhansk and who could. The other assistance could be delivered by the mission of Red Cross to occupied areas. Ukrainian humanitarian aid is transferred to Red Cross according to all the procedures, classifications, and protocols. As to ATO, the situation is tense, and they shall ATO forces, including from Russian Federation, the main efforts of Russian military men, focused at liberating strategic places and their engagements. Donetsk, near Donetsk, Luhansk, Горловка, Первомайск, Шахтарск, Torres, Popasna, Krasny Luch, Ilovaisk. Especially tough engagements on those places where Ukrainian army controls strategic role, highways H21 and the Nishatarsky M04 near Novosibirsk that provide link between Donetsk and Luhansk and the rest of the territories which are temporarily under the control of Russian mercenaries as a result of offense of ATO, militants were surrounded in Mospino and Donetsk region under active engagement near Pavlovka in Luhansk region. According to operational interesting, the terrorists shelled the territory of Kharkiv, Donetsk region, and from Hrad system. During operations in Donetsk region in the forest, National Guards found ammunition of terrorists and a lot of grenades and a lot of bullets for machine guns. Yesterday we spoke about that recently under Lugansk they captured 438M of Russian production. That is a satellite communication tool or device. On blog post near Debaltsevo, Donetsk region, 7 men were arrested, and the invention of local people. They helped terrorist activities, and they were active members of one of the groups of terrorists. The suspects had ammunition, and now they give information. This is how local people help to ATO and through hotline, which we have in Mariupol. As to the situation in cities in Krasnodon, representative of terrorist organization Army of the Eastern East, they prohibited to take photos and videos in public places, and those who do it, they will be considered to be spies, and they will be executed, and men are not allowed to live, and they enforce mobilization. Terrorists try to destabilize the situation outside of ATO. In Melitopol, they exploded private bank department, and luckily nobody, no casualties. And today the president of Ukraine, Poroshenko, had a meeting with 25 military men who were liberated from captivity in the Donetsk region. He told that he will do everything to save life for Ukrainian soldiers and civilians. The head of the state told that still there are 100 people as we will not stop the fight to liberate for our citizens, and because all of them are Ukrainians, all of them should be free. We will win because we are Ukrainians, we are together, and the truth is with us. We don't want anything evil to anyone, but we are strong. We learned how to fight, how to defend our state. We love it, and we will not give Ukraine to no one. But President Poroshenko told tomorrow in Mariupol, Donetsk region, there will be a concert with of 95 quota for military men of National Guards of Ukraine. The goal is to improve morale of military men who under heavy conditions are there and do their duty defending the state. It's the Information Ministry of Social Policy, Regional and District Social Services they take care of 8,671 families of IDPs who have 11,145 children. Today there is an issue of how to enroll them to schools and kindergartens, and on August 15 from boarding schools, from centers of social rehabilitation in ATO area, all children are evacuated, and now there is now they take 119 kids from Krasnodon boarding school and Rovensky, and old and disabled people in from 80 or 6 boarding schools from Sumy, Kharkiv, Poltava regions are ready to receive kids from those boarding schools. There are all conditions for that. As to events in Crimea, Minister of Foreign Affairs expressed protest as to the efforts of Russian Federation. They are trying to use their national jurisdiction to nuclear facilities on the temporarily occupied by Russian Federation part of territory of Ukraine and Autonomous Republic of Crimea and in Sevastopol. As to international situation today, President Poroshenko had a phone conversation with the Prime Minister of Great Britain, David Cameron, and they coordinated activities as how to direct information to military equipment that trespassed the border with Ukraine. And journalists from Guardian newspaper, they saw that British Prime Minister told that he supports Ukraine and President Poroshenko. President Poroshenko expressed the concern as to the situation on the border because still heavy military equipment and weapons continue coming from Russia. They discussed international efforts for a dialogue as to regulation the situation in the east and prospects of broadening military technical cooperation. David Cameron told that Great Britain is ready to support Ukraine financially in the frame of humanitarian assistance of the UN. Philip Hammond, the head of Foreign Ministry, he's called Moscow to stop supporting terrorist formations in the east of Ukraine. He told about that when he came to the council, to the meeting of the council, EU Council, and President Poroshenko had one more conversation with Prime Minister of Australia, Tony Abbott. Prime Minister of Australia thanked Ukraine and the President for the assistance during international investigation of the tragedy of MH17. 38 people from Australia died in that disaster, and there's a conflict which is, he told, provoked from our side. President Poroshenko suggested to improve contacts and to open the embassy of Australia in Ukraine. Tony Abbott supported that initiative. He told that the embassy of Australia in Ukraine will be opened recently. Australia expressed readiness to support reintegration of regions of Donbass that suffered because of gunmen. Prime Minister Abbott assessed. He expressed support as to humanitarian assistance to Luhansk. I have two questions. The first one is about our humanitarian assistance in the East, and when they started to build such a column, on which level, who, and made such a decision, why there was no such a decision why there was no such a decision before? Thank you for your question. After local authorities in Luhansk and Donetsk region, they told that the critical situation is common, and with provision and at the initiative of the President Poroshenko, there was a decision made to prepare humanitarian aid to these regions. President of Ukraine called the international community to get involved, and a lot of countries responded to that, and the assistance started to come. As to we provided information about the column itself, it's important that Ukrainian part of international humanitarian aid has arrived, and now it is transported to representatives of Red Cross, and they will accompany it to where it is expected by our people. Other questions? About military vehicles and equipment, transport, how they trespass the Ukraine border. Why nobody stopped that? Why there was no artillery used? And for example, Ukraine has systems that stop that. Why aircrafts are not used to stop that? Because you told that area is under ATO control. The column that crossed the border with Ukraine near Zvarino, that is the part which is not under control, direct control by Ukrainian border guards. There was such a column. We don't inform you about the number of vehicles, and we don't inform you that observation of after that column. Those everything which is where we will tell you later where it is. because the day is not over and there are still active engagements. That was under. It was our intelligence knew about this that column, and they part of the column doesn't exist already. That's why every column, as I told you, is under our eye. We cannot destroy them right on the border because there are anti-aircraft systems there, and also Russian military men control our airspace near there. So that's why we use the tactic of allowing the column to come deeper into our territory, and then that's where it is destroyed. Thank you. Euronews, Ukraine. The question is about that Russian humanitarian aid. Where is it? Is there new information? Thank you for your question. By 5 o'clock, Interagency working group of border guards of Ukraine and custom officers. They have not received any document from representative of the Red Cross. We're supposed to receive that column, that humanitarian. It is in Donetsk, in the Rostov region, and it's equipped where our border guards and customs officers can ready to start at any point of the day. As soon as we get those documents, then official and we will they will check it, and they will go work according to all the procedures. Ukraine news. Everybody started to speak about that military column because Western media spread that information. Is there dynamics more? Is there dynamic? Do we have more equipment supplied by Russia to terrorists or less? This story with today shows that Western journalists who saw with their own eyes what is happening really on the border between Ukraine and Russia, that stressed the whole world. And that's why we heard official statements from foreign ministries of some countries that are interested in the situation in Ukraine, and they would like to help to stop that Russian aggression of Russia. I cannot inform you about dynamics. There were bigger columns or smaller columns, but this case is an example of what has happened finally. The West understands what's happening on the Ukrainian-Russian border. I would like to thank journalists. I would like to clarify about that Russian humanitarian aid. In the morning, a representative from Red Cross, he told that our representatives, 40 border guards and 40 customs officers are already working, and they inspect the cargo. You say that we don't have documents. The question is, who is to start on that work? The Red Cross or our border guards? Who is the first in this line? Thank you. Border guards and custom officers have a right to examine the cargo which comes to territory of Ukraine. If that cargo is humanitarian, and if Red Cross is responsible for it, and it takes responsibility for bringing it to the country, the first one who to meet that cargo and who is responsible for items and quality, that is Red Cross. After they receive that cargo, they provide those documents to Ukrainian border guards and the customs officers, who also work according to legislation of Ukraine and procedures. So they have certain procedures. Yes, in the morning, our border guards and customs officers, they were ready at any moment to start that work. But Until 5 o'clock, we don't have. They have not received official documents about that cargo. Why, until now, there is no question of buffer zone under the control of international peacekeeping organizations on the territory of Russia? And there should be a buffer zone for one artillery for the as long as artillery can shoot. I'm not ready to answer your question. That should be done on a diplomatic level. Our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The war is not announced between Ukraine and Russia that supplies mercenaries and weaponry to Ukrainian territory. And that's why, because of it's not official, we cannot say that there should be some kind of a buffer zone. We don't mind that the representative monitors, for example, from international organizations who are respected and who have certain means for that, and a mandate for them to monitor all border between Ukraine and Russia, 24 hours, 7 days a week. If they do that work, we support it. We saw the example how our colleagues, journalists from Western media, they did the job, and the whole world now knows what's happening here. More questions? In the morning, you told, you didn't tell us about wounded. What's the situation there? About casualties, well, I will inform you tomorrow because the day is not over. Let's hope we will not have more of them. As to the number of wounded during the last day, 65, five died, and 65 and wounded, and very heavy engagements are there. I would like to ask you about information about Aidar battalion. During the previous conference, you told that information, you are trying to clarify that information. Do you have information about losses during this day? The question was about big losses, and I told you that they don't have such casualties, and they are there in the area of battles, and only in the morning we will know we'll have some new data. I hope that nothing happens. Thank you very much.